Greetings, Special Centurions, and welcome, YouTube warriors, back to Lorerim. So it seems over the last couple of weeks, the final update for Lorerim was released. I think last time we played this and checked it out was about a year ago on the channel. It was in version 3.0 back then, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, but I figured since he was going to be bringing out new patches and new releases for it, and I'd have to keep overhauling the installation files and playing with the Wabberjack mod, mod organizer or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's just a bit of a kerfuffle to sort out. I decided not to carry on with the playthrough when a new update came out for Lorerim, and that we'd wait until the final product came out before revisiting it. So here we are, the final chapter is now out, and we are going to be starting a new run of Lorerim. In the last one, we played as Bronan, the magicless barbarian. This time we are going as Lord Voldeblort, who is a Vampiric Necromancer. We're going to be starting a brand new game, and as this is session 0, we are going to be taking our time looking at all of the new aspects of Lorerim, the final chapter, because a lot of it has changed from the beginning that we knew before. We're going to be reading through everything, taking our time and enjoying it and just soaking it all up. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. Be sure to smash that like button if you are having a good time and you want to see more Lorerim on the channel. Let me know you're enjoying it, and I'll definitely keep pumping more episodes out for you guys. Before we get started, I think I do want to give a quick shout out and welcome to all the newest members and viewers of the channel. Guys, welcome to the Special Legion. Welcome one and all. 'Tis a silly place full of revelry and mirth, so I'm sure you will enjoy your stay. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the subs. And let's dive in and start a new run with Lord Voldeblort. It's not working. Why is this not working? There we go. Now it is. Or not. MTS. Okay, we're going to quit. We're going to restart. I'm going to pause it, guys. I will be right back in just a moment once Lorerim has loaded again. Okay, so here we are, guys. Lorerim is reloading now. Shouldn't take too long from here, this point. Off to a flying start, as always. But hey, that's modding for you. But check it out. We got the cool Dark Brotherhood door as our background, which looks sinister and sick as hell. I think it's the perfect start to our Lord Voldeblort run, our Vampiric Necromancer. We're going to be focusing on conjuration, the schools of conjuration, destruction, and illusion, I think, for the build. We're going to be a high elf, an Altmer, for as much magic as possible. And we're going to be focusing on resurrecting enemies that we kill and creating a zombie army so we can locate Harry Potter and find the Order of Phoenix and finally put an end to that shenanigans. Okay, coming in hot. So we're going to be starting a new game right away. Start a new game, yes. There we go. It's actually working now. Good. Okay, so we're going to look at race. We're going to go... Let's look at all the races and see what they all do, because they're all different in Lorerim and it's all changed. Well, as I said, this is going to be a nice slow session 0, guys, where we read through everything and check it all out. So, yeah. The Altmer of Somerset Isle are called High Elves in the Empire, describing both their physical appearance and their snobbish personality. The arcane ability of High Elves surpasses all other races in Tamriel. Their Highborn ability grants them increased magic and spell power as well. They are weak in physical combat, however, and their magic ability or affinity makes them more susceptible to elemental damage. Okay, so a couple of weaknesses there. We could maybe go Argonian. I could argue that because Lord Voldemort is like a part snake or has the soul of Nagi or whatever tied to his, or however the lore goes. I'm not that big on Harry Potter, so I don't really know. But Lord Voldeblort could easily be an Argonian if we could get him looking right. But I think we're probably just going to go with Altmer, to be completely honest. Anyway, let's see what Argonians are about. They are the reptilian denizens of Blackmarsh. Years of defending their borders have made them experts in stealth and evasion, and their natural abilities make them equally at home in water and on land. They are resistant to diseases and poisons and enjoy raw meat. His skin allows them to quickly heal their wounds. Okay. Bosma. Oh, they're the wood elves, aren't they? My woodland counterparts. Or cousins, I might say. The Bosma, or wood elves, originate from the sacred forest of Valenwood. Valenwood? Probably Valenwood. Their culture is highly carnivorous. Oh, okay. And even cannibalistic, really. Gross. Derived from the green pact with the forest, in which they harm no plant. Oh, so they're fine to slaughter and devour each other and other animals, but they don't harm any plants. What a bunch of whack jobs. Their dexterity makes them excellent scouts and thieves, and there are no finer archers in all of Tamriel. They have a natural resistance to poison, disease, and shock. Okay, Breton. Could the writing get any smaller? Come on, guys. It's tiny. Bretons, the inhabitants of the province of High Rock, are the human descendants of the elves and the ancient race of the Needs. While Bretons are physically weak, they can tap on magicka more than any other. Come top on magicka more than any other human race, and they are particularly capable in the school of conjuration. Oh, maybe we'll go as a Breton then. Their magic resistance blocks 1/5 of incoming spell damage, and their dragon skin ability can fully absorb harmful magic by chance. We could be a Breton, actually. Could be argued that Lord Voldeblort is a Breton, considering he was a person. He was a human, not an elf. And that he's especially skilled at conjuration. Plus they come top in magic, and they can block magic. I think we'll go as a Breton, actually. Anyway, let's carry on. The Dunmer, or Dark Elves, are the ash-skinned, red-eyed elven people of Vardenfell. They combine powerful intellects with strong and agile physiques, producing excellent warriors and evokers. They are extremely resistant to fire, blocking half of incoming fire damage. They're particularly skilled in destruction and conjuration magic, and can imbue more power into associated spells. Oh, maybe he's a dark elf. I don't know. We'll see. Imperial. The cosmopolitan citizens of Cyrodiil are descended from the founders of the glorious empire that has influenced Tamriel's history throughout the eras. Imperials are talented leaders and traders among society, skilled in both magic and combat, thanks to martial and academic education of the schools of Cyrodiil. Their leadership can encourage their followers to fight well in combat. Khajiit is absolutely tiny. Can I even read that? The Khajiit are a race of feline humanoids hailing from the province of Elsewhere, well known as great merchants, but also as smugglers and thieves. They are very fast and outrun all other races, which, combined with a high stamina regen, make them fearsome skirmishers. However, they are seldom gifted with the skill to harness magical forces. All Khajiit can see in the dark at will, eat raw meat, resist the harmful effects of skooma, and their sharp claws are as lethal as knives. Interesting. Nords. Skyrim's Nords are tall and fair, with a culture which values honor, glory, and loyalty to family and community. Nords have come to distrust magic, but excel in physical warfare. They are greatly resistant to frost. Nords also have innate ability to use shouts and can unleash immense power through the words of power when mastered. Awesome. Is that orc, is it? The Orsimir, I'm just going to take a look. Yeah, it's orc, okay. The Orsimir of Perifor, commonly called orcs, there you go, came from Orsinium in the west. Their savage appearance and customs sometimes cause fear, but they have won acceptance for their distinguished service in the Legion. Orcs' superior strength makes them formidable warriors, though use of magic requires extensive training. Their incredible endurance grants them resistance to both magical and physical harm. And a Red Guards. The dark-skinned, wiry-haired Red Guards of Hammerfell seem born for battle, though their proud and independent spirits suit free-ranging heroism more. They have a hardy constitution and natural resistance to poison and disease, but tend to shun their magic. They are full of stamina and naturally skilled in melee combat, making them one of the strongest warriors in Tamriel. I think we're going to go Breton, to be honest. It is just the best race flat out in general, and it's the best magical race. So that's the race. Let's see if we can get a Voldeblort looking one. That's kind of, we could go with that and then just work with that. Yeah, let's go with that. And let's make him, we need to make him grey. No, he needs to be really pale and washed out. Yeah. Make him super skinny. He's basically like a rake. Head, face. Nose color. What? It's got nose color, but nose area depth. That's probably what we want. We need to flatten the nose, right? What's that even doing? That doesn't seem to be doing anything. Or is it flattening the nose? I can't see that making any difference at all. Okay. That did absolutely nothing. Face height, jaw height. Nose depth, here we go. Is that making it bigger? Yeah, that's making the brow bigger. We need to make it. We need to go the other way. Make it flatter, more snake-like. Nose depth, negative. He's going to have negative nose depth, chat. Yes, yes, flat like a snake's face. Yes. The nose just disappears entirely. Oh, that's so gross. That's so funny and gross. Nose length, negative. Make it... Oh my gosh. His nose is like going inwards now, basically. Oh my gosh, that's so disgusting. We need to make the nostrils... Celian. Is the celian the middle part of the nose? Oh my god, okay, that just looks broken from the side. Okay, maybe we went too far. We've literally inverted his skull. That looks absolutely gross. We've gone a bit too far there, guys. Let's bring it back. He's missing a nose now. That's not right. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, now he's actually got a nose, but it's a bit... Could go a bit flatter than that. Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Nose Celian width. We want it to be super wide, right? Flat and wide. Is that right? Let's check. Oh, is the celly in the narrow bit, the bit in the middle between the eyes? Well, we want that to be nice and wide anyway. So we want it to be flat. Nose type. Wow, these noses aren't changing at all. I suppose because they're in his face, so we can't actually see them. Nose height. No, we want it to be longer. Whatever, that's fine. Nose, cheek depth, cheek height. We want the cheeks to be like inverted. He's basically skeletal. Basically skeletal in the flesh. Cheek height. Where's his... That doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's a bit hard to see what does what. Cheek width. Bring it down. Super narrow face. Let's focus on the eyes. The eyes we need to get right next. Elf ear, jaw shape. Nose bridge, nose tilt, nose width. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Make the nose nice and wide and flat. Flat and wide nose. His nose is huge, but it disappears into his face. Now we need to get the eyes massive to be like either side of it. Yeah, that looks right. That looks right on the nose. Okay, now we need the eyes. Eye ground width. Is that like how far apart they are? Or is that like how wide the eyes are? Each eyeball. That seems to be how far apart they are. Eyelid, eyelid, eye height. You want the eyes to be lower. Is that up, going up? Yeah, that's putting the eyes up. We want it to be negative. We want them to be lower and massive. So they should be going down. Yeah, they're going really low. There we go. All the way down. That'll do. And then we want them to be massive. Eye size, really big. Like a great big alien. Oh my god, they're huge. They're so big, they take up most of his face, chat. He's going to be, his passive perception is going to be through the roof. Right, eye width. We want them to be nice and wide as well. We need to change the irises to a different kind of iris. So like a snake iris. And the mouth's all wrong as well. Needs to have a tiny mouth. It's annoying. He keeps going past the upper thing. Right, there you go. Brow, mouth, mouth shape. Right, we need to change the mouth shape. He needs to have a tiny mouth. They're all the same, basically. They're all literally the same, just slightly different sizes. I guess that will do. How do you do mouth? That doesn't do anything. How do you do mouth size? Mouth width, there we go. Let's bring that all the way down, get it nice and narrow, nice and small mouth. So he's pouting basically. Yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Sexy pout, sexy Voldemort pout. Ooh, purse those lips, boy. He looks a bit like Jason Statham, just with massive eyes. Now he's getting ridiculous. Oh, he's thirsty. He's thirsty for blood. He's a thirsty boy. Okay, that's just ridiculous. That's maximum, is it? Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm so thirsty for blood. No, that's a bit too much. You just round him out a little bit. Right, that'll do. He's changed the eyes and the eyebrows as well. Expressions, bigger. Oh my god. Combat anger. How much combat anger do we want to see? We want to see a lot of combat anger on this guy's face. It's probably not going to do anything because we move the eyes around. So there we go. He's getting a bit angry now. Now he's getting angry. Now he's getting angry. There it is. Oh, serious anger. We're gonna get serious anger with a touch of dialogue fear. Let's get some dialogue fear in there. Let's see how that looks. Doesn't seem to be doing anything yet. Still not doing anything. His eyes are getting wide. His eyes are getting wide and glassy. That's exactly what we want. Oh, he's getting confused and uncertain now. He's like, what? What's going on? What's happening now? All right, that'll do. Let's go to colors. I want to change the color of everything. Lord Voldemort looks eternally fucking surprised, apparently. Colors, skin tone. Can we make it blue? Dirt color, war paint color, hair color, eyeliner color, eyeshadow, eye tint, cheek color, laugh lines, forehead color. We can't really change the skin color, can we, to blue? Face paint, body or scales, genitals. What? Okay. This isn't really going how I imagined it would be going. He's not really looking how I thought he would be. Whatever, this'll do. I'm not really fussed. You barely see your character after you create them anyway, because it's all first person. So I'm not too fussed. I'm happy with this being Lord Voldeblort. I thought we could change more, like the eyes, like the eye color and stuff. Eye tint. No. Iris spread. Oh, iris size. We want that to be massive. Oh, I didn't do the eye size either. I thought I could change the color of the eye as well. That doesn't seem to be the case. They're coming out the side of his face. Oh, that looks ridiculous. It's actually clipping out the size of his face. Let's withdraw it a bit so it's not doing such a bad. It doesn't fuck up the side of his eye, his brows, basically. Yeah, there we go. Eye size. We want eye size to be massive. Make them eyes nice and big, boy. Okay, they're clipping again, so we might as well just keep them at like 1 or whatever. Okay, that's fine. How do you change the eye color? I could have sworn you could change the eye color, but apparently not. Okay, you know what, I'm done. That's fine. How do you get to being done? How do you say done? R? Finish X. Oh, I don't know if somebody's got R down there. Finish name your character. Yes. Lord Voldeblort. Is that how you spell Voldemort? There's no R, is there? Voldeblort. There we go. Lord Voldeblort. Installation process will begin now. Make your choices to shape your character and start your destiny. Okay, it's not working now. Why is it not working? So it's installing a bunch of stuff. Let it do its thing. Okay, so it gets you to choose one of your signs immediately. I think we're going to go with, obviously, being a mage user. Let's just see what they all do first, quickly. Why is it? There we go. Sign of the warrior. Those under the sign of the warrior have increased strength and endurance. Health increases by 50. All weapons deal 10% more damage. Armor penetration with all weapons is increased by 5, which doubles when the corresponding weapon skill is mastered. Unarmed strikes do 10 additional damage. So there's no way to scroll down on the right side here. There's no way to move down and see what it says fully whenever it runs off the page like that. Unfortunately, that's just some kind of oversight in the game. The only other oversight that I know of in in this latest version of Lorerim is the favorites menu doesn't work. Pressing up or down on the D-pad doesn't bring up your favorites menu for some reason. Not sure why that's not working either, but those are the only two things that I'm aware of that aren't really playing ball with the way you want them to. Sign of the Thief. Those under the Sign of the Thief have increased dexterity. Lockpicks are 30% more durable. Lockpicking expertise is increased by 2. Pickpocketing is 30% more likely to succeed. You are 30% harder to detect. You can sneak without proficiency, and you gain 10% chance to avoid physical something or other. Sign of the Mage is probably the one we're going to go for. Those under the Sign of the Mage have increased magic reserves and can cast more potent spells. Magic increases by 150. Spells are 10% stronger, doubling to 20% when you master the relevant magic skill. We'll probably go for that, to be honest. Sign of the Apprentice. Those under the Sign of the Apprentice have increased magic and faster regen, but also have a weakness to magic. Magic increases by 100%, or magic increases by 100 even, sorry. Magic regenerates an extra 5 per second. Magic deals 25% more damage. And if you have not mastered any magical skills. So that gets less useful as you master more and more skills, apparently. Sign of the Atronach. Those under the Sign of the Atronach have deep reserves of magic and can absorb harmful magic, but cannot generate magic on their own. Oh. So there's no magic regen on it. Magic increases by 200 initially and going up to 300 once you've mastered a magical skill. You do not lose magic when hit. Increases the chance to absorb the magic from spells, I think. Sign of the Lady. Those under the Sign of the Lady have increased vitality. Health and stamina increased by 25. Health and stamina regen 40% faster, doubling when a warrior skill is mastered. That's pretty good. You can run or swim without exertion. That's pretty good for exploration. Sign of the Lord. The Stone of the Lord grants natural regen and weakened hostile spells, but also afflicts them with a Trollkin curse. 10% magic resist, 150 armor rating, 25% weakness to fire if you have not mastered a warrior skill. Well, we're going to be a vampire, so that's definitely a bad one for us because that would stack. We'd have even more weakness to fire if we were a vampire, as well as having the Trollkin curse. We'd go up like a fucking bonfire if we were touched by flame at all, so that's not an option really. Those under the Sign of the Lover have increased agility and natural charm. Stamina regen increases by 40%, increases chance to avoid physical damage by 25%, speech skill is 25 higher, shout cooldown reduced by 5%, and an additional 5% after mastering speechcraft. Meh, don't really care. Sign of the Ritual. Those under the Sign of the Ritual have various abilities depending on the aspects of the moons and the divines. You receive Blessed Fire, Dead Horde, and Salvation powers. Enchanting is 10% stronger when you master enchanting. Dead Horde, that sounds interesting for a necromancer. I wonder what that does. Sign of the Shadow. Those under the Sign of the Shadow are naturally skilled at stealth. You can hide in the shadows once a day. You are 50% harder to detect. You can sneak without proficiency. Movement noise is 30% quieter. You receive Moon Shadow power, and you gain 5% armor pen upon mastering Sneak, Wayfarer, or something else. Sign of the Steed. Those under the Sign of the Steed have increased speed. Movement is 10% faster. Sprinting is 10% faster. Carry weight increases by 25. Stamina increases by 50. Most slow effects don't affect you, and you restore 1 stamina per second if you've mastered a warrior's skill. Interesting. Sign of the Tower. Those under the Sign of the Tower have nimble hands and knack for finding fortune. Prices are 20% more favorable. 50 more carry weight. Lockpicks are 40% more durable. Lockpicking expertise is increased by 4. That's quite a lot. That's quite good. Actually, 4 is quite a big, significant amount. You can pick effortless locks in plain sight without being noticed. That's funny. Sign of the Serpent. Those under the Sign of the Serpent have improved precision, resistance to poison and paralysis, and can cast Serpent's Curse once a day. Armor pen with all weapons is increased by 15. Poison deals 50% less damage to you, doubling at level 40. So at level 40 you become immune to poison. That's cool. And most paralysis effects only don't adversely affect... Well, we're a vampire, so we're immune to poison and disease and paralysis anyway. Okay, so yeah, it's the Sign of the Mage, definitely. Select our skills. We're going to be going Conjuration, Destruction, and Illusion. And then our minor skills are going to be Alteration, Restoration, and I suppose Enchanting. Oh, we need 6. Yeah, Enchanting, Wayfarer, so we can get into places. Speech, I suppose. No, Sneak, and we've got all the magic ones. Is it Finesse or Speech that we want? Probably Speech. After all, Lord Voldeblort is incredibly charismatic and charming and gets what he wants often by beguiling people with words. Religion. Most denizens of Tamriel are religious. You may choose to follow a deity, receiving a minor blessing and learning about their sacred tenets. If you wish to follow a different deity later, find and activate their shrine in the world. Okay. Why does it keep going to the mouse? Not the keyboard. Not the controller. Akatosh. Yeah, it keeps going to the mouse, not the controller. That's really annoying. Akatosh is the dragon god of time. As father of dragons, He represents beginning and end. Follower, improved attacks and spells against dragons. Tenets, no, I don't care about that. Dragons don't come into Lorerim for a long time. RK, once a mortal shopkeeper, the Lord of Life and God of Funerals is granted divinity by Mara. Follower, regenerate health when weakened. Can perform Arce's rites on the dead. Well, we don't want to perform rites on the dead. We want to raise them. Slay the undead and their summoners. No, I am an undead summoner. We definitely don't want to follow that god. We would not fit in there at all. Goddess of beauty and love. She inspires mortals to create art and engage in passionate love. Improves skills while affected by lovers' comfort. Persuade others. Receive. Nah, Voldemort's not much of a lover, let's be honest. Magnus. The architect of creation, Magnus left the sun in his wake, through which magic enters the world. Spells cost less magic, but magic only regenerates while praying. We don't want that. That would be too much of a nuisance. Mora. Mora is divine mother of agriculture, fertility and compassion, and mother cat to the Khajiit. Health regeneration out of combat and pray to remove disease and poisons. Nah. Bit useless when we're a vampire. Finaster. Ancient god of Somerset, Finaster taught his people to live longer by using a shorter stride. Faster regeneration when standing still, slower when moving. What, is that health regen or something? What, faster regeneration of what? Stamina, health, mana? Dunno. Bretons are most deserving of my favour. Yeah, I might go as Finaster. If none of the others suit, then I'll go as Finaster. Stendar is the god of mercy and justice, to the patron of holy knights and the Imperial Legion. Reduces damage from danger and undead. Xerxes. Once a mortal scribe to Ariel, the historian god keeps track of all elven accomplishments. Receive an additional skill point from reading a skill book. Don't care about that. Zenithar. Zenithar is the god of work and commerce, worshipped by traders, nobility, and craftsmen. No, that's not Lord Voldeblort at all. That's not Voldeblort in any way whatsoever. I guess we're going as Finaster. Yeah, faster regen when standing still. Okay, so now you get to pick 2 traits as well. These are all different characteristics that you can equip. You get 2 of them. So we're just going to read through them and pick a couple. Adrenaline rush. You possess a natural flight response when at less than 20% health. You move 20% faster and regenerate 1 stamina per second, but also deal 30% less damage when below this threshold. So you do 30% less damage, but you get to run away, basically. So it's adrenaline rush just to run. That's really funny. Okay, angler. Your bond with sea grants unique benefits. Mud crabs and slaughterfish become friendly toward you. Fishing yields more valuable items. Fishing rods deal double damage. Okay, and have a chance to summon a mud crab to fight at your side. That's hilarious. If the summoned mud crab becomes stronger if you're... if I knew that, if I could read what that said, and I knew how to make the summoned mud crab stronger, chat, you know that's what we'd be going for. We would totally be going for Anglo and summoning a mud crab to fight for us everywhere we went. Shame we can't read it and work out how it works. Embrace your divine gifts with Au Natural. Start with plus 100 health, magic, and stamina. For each piece of armor or clothing you wear, though, you lose 40 from each attribute, up to a maximum loss of 160 or negative 160 with 4 pieces equipped. Additionally, you gain 1 to health, magic, and stamina per level for each empty something or other. Don't know what that empty thing is, so we can't make use of that. That's annoying. You are born into wickedness with bad natured. Your attacks while being crouched deal 20% more, and you're better at pickpocketing. However, attacks while standing up and do 20% less, and wearing a divine amulet will hurt you. Oh, okay. Wearing divine amulets hurt you, apparently. Okay. Bane of the wicked. You are an enemy to all things abhorrent. That doesn't sound like Lord Voldeblort. Deal 20% more damage to undead, Daedra, and werewolves. However, do 10% less damage to other beings. Bulwark. When walking or standing still, you gain 200 armor rating and reflect 10% physical damage. You drain 1 additional stamina per second while sprinting and 25 when running. 0.25 when running, okay. Defiler. The only use you have for the living is to resurrect them in death. Deal 20% more damage to playable races. However, do 10% less damage to other beings. Oh, I thought that may have been useful for a second, but it isn't. Disbeliever. You reject the influence of gods, placing your faith in logic and reason instead. Dwemer weapons and armor are 33% stronger, but you cannot receive blessings from shrines or divines. Disciplined. Shoot a bow or shoot to kill. Bows and crossbows deal 20% more damage. However, they draw/reload 40% slower. Dova Tinvak. You are fluent in dragon speech and as such can shout 10% more often at 20% reduced effectiveness. I don't like that. Druid. Druids are attuned to nature, making Spriggans friendly and reducing the cost of druidic spells by up to 30%. Cost of druidic spells by up to 30%. You can craft life bloom essence from taproot and Spriggan sap for powerful regen. However, your bond with the wild leaves you 25% more vulnerable to fire and axes. That's funny. Elemental conduit. Fire spells are more powerful in sunny weather but lose potency in the rain. Okay. Shock spells are enhanced during the rain but are less effective in snowy conditions. And frost spells excel in snowy weather but weaken under sunny skies. Interesting. Fast shot. You'd rather shoot fast than shoot hard. Bows draw 40% faster. Crossbows reload 40% faster as well. However, bows and crossbows deal 30% less damage. Focus. When in danger, you think before acting. When at less than 20% health, you regen 5 magic per second and absorb 10% of incoming spells. However, you take 10% more damage when below this threshold as well. Gambler. You go in all or nothing. Gain 50% chance to critically hit. However, overall weapon damage is reduced by 40%. When you do land a critical hit, your attacks do 10% more damage for 30 seconds. Stackable up to 5 times. That is gambling. That is really gambling. Yeah. Silly. Why would you do that? Why don't you not just have normal damage instead of a perk that gets you normal damage but without a risk? Who knows, people? Who knows? Giantkin. Descended from the mighty giants, you gain 10% magic resistance and damage with blunt weapons. However, you cannot read skill books or use scrolls and staves. Ugh. Glutton, you love food but hate medicine. Food benefits are 25% stronger, but potions have only 50% their efficiency. No, Lurker. When not wearing any clothes, sneak attacks deal 2.5 more damage and can sneak 25% better. Eating fish when it's raw and wriggling triggers a powerful healing effect that lasts 10 minutes. That's funny. However, armor provides no protection, cooked food offers no benefits, and weapons with a weight of something or other do something or other. Good-natured. You have a good heart. Deal 20% less damage with weapons and destruction spells. However, while wearing an amulet of the divines, beneficial spells and potions last 20% longer and you take 20% less damage. Actually, can we use the mouse here? No, we can't. Yeah, we can't. Okay. Hoarder. You love carrying stuff around even if it's junk. Gain 200 carry weight. Selling prices are 50% worse though. Okay. Homeowner. You've secured a place to call your own, choosing one of Skyrim's fine homes to settle in. However, comfort comes at a cost. Each week you must make a mortgage payment based on the home's value. Introvert. You thrive in solitude but falter in the crowd. When facing 3 or fewer enemies, you deal 15% more damage. whether with the weapons or destruction magic. Okay. Against 4 or more enemies, your nerve gets the better of you and you deal 10% less. Yeah. Jack of all spells, but master of none. Novice, apprentice, and adept spells are 20% stronger or longer lasting. Expert and master spells are 20% weaker or shorter. No, that's garbage. King of worms. King of worms. You've gained hidden insight into necromantic arts. You have 1 additional summon or undead thrall. However, the duration of summon and resurrection spells is reduced by 33%. I'm not sure I want that, to be honest. It sounds like it's good, but it's really frustrating having to recast summon spells all the time. Like, constantly. And when you've got, like, 4 minions that are constantly refreshing, if their time limit that they stay on the plane of existence for is reduced, then that just increases the amount of time that you have to keep recasting things. And it just gets annoying. So, probably not going to take that. Lightfoot. You've never felt comfortable in footwear. When not wearing boots or shoes, your movement is muffled. You move 5% faster and suffer no fall damage. Oh, that's cool. When wearing boots, shoes, you move 10% slower. Okay. Marathon runner. You regenerate 5 stamina per second while sprinting. However, you will not be able to gain any stamina while running or standing still. That's not good. That means you basically never get stamina back. Master of Destiny. You reject the influence of fate and star signs. Standing stones cannot be used, but you begin the game with 3 additional perk points and a permanent +5 boost to all skills. Yeah. Nosferatu. You're an ugly sight and live in the sewers. -50 speech, no health, magic, or stamina regen outdoors. Eating skeever meat gives you a 20% speed boost and restores 10 health, magic, and stamina per second for 180. So if we would take Nosferatu, we have to stock up on skeever meat. Interesting. Old-fashioned. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Weapons, armor, and magical staves made of iron, wood, steel, fur, or hide are 15% stronger. Otherwise, they're weaker. Okay, pacifist. When your arms are lower, you restore 2 magic and stamina per second. However, raising your hands in combat will have the opposite effect. Those born under the sign of the Atronach do not gain any benefits. Rage. You possess a natural fight response. When at less than 20% health, you deal 20% more damage and take 20% less damage. However, you move 30% slower when below this threshold. Moving slow would be an issue. Reading skill books grants an additional skill point, and trainers cost 50% less. However, every 5 levels you don't gain a perk point. Ugh, no. Soul Reaver. You've drained countless souls for your gain. Weapons and armor enchantments are 10% stronger and use 10% less charge. Armor rating and weapon damage is reduced by 10. Swimmer. You prefer life on the water. In water, you swim 30% faster, can breathe underwater, and regenerate health, stamina, and magic by a flat 1 per second. On land, you suffer 25% less health, stamina, and magic regeneration. Unbound hands. Handwear constricts you. Spells are 15% stronger, and unarmed attacks do 30 more damage when not wearing gauntlets or gloves. Okay. However, they suffer the opposite effect when wearing gloves or gauntlets. Right. Where the voice. You follow the pacifist creed of the Waybeards, and as such, your hostile shouts are 30% less effective, but using non-hostile shouts has a 20% chance to reset the shout cooldown. Not very good. Witcher. Potions and poisons you craft are 20% more effective, and consuming raw ingredients grants double the effect. However, you can only benefit from up to 4 active potions at a time. Oh, an addict. This guy gets you drunk, doesn't he? And takes you somewhere. Addict, you develop some bad habits. Skooma and alcohol benefits last twice as long, and you can craft skooma at a cooking pot. Oh, that could be useful. When not under the effects of alcohol or skooma, you have a 25% chance to get staggered when hit. Heir to the relic. You begin your journey with a treasured artifact passed down through your bloodline, but such gifts are never free. The legacy carries a hidden debt. Until it is repaid, you are bound to the land, unable to fast travel. Oof. That would be a slow playthrough. Phalanx. You deal 15% more damage with spears, javelins, pikes, halberds. However, you take 50% more damage when hit from behind. It also gives you a unique pike. Cool. Wizard's Wardrobe. Your wands are 30% more effective when wearing a wizarding hat. When not wearing a wizard hat, all spells are 10% less powerful or last 10% less. Yeah, we want that. We need to get ourselves a wizard hat as soon as possible, chat. Touch of the Arcane. Your touch and cloak spells are 20% stronger. All other spell types are 10% weaker. Meh. Silent Dover. You choose not to speak the thumb, instead hoarding the souls of slain dragons to fuel your own power. For each unspent dragon soul, you gain 10 health, magic, and stamina. However, this draconic strength rejects the curse of beast or blood. Werewolves and vampires cannot harness its power. Oh, damn it. That would have been nice. So we can't use Silent Dover. I was thinking about taking that as well when I was just reading it. Serene Presence. Your calming aura makes you effortlessly persuasive. Persuasion checks almost always succeed, and pacifying spells are 20% stronger. However, your intimidation attempts are half as likely to succeed, and your frenzy spells are 20% weaker. Dominating Will. Your presence commands fear. Intimidation checks almost always succeed, and frenzy spells are 20% stronger. However, your persuasive charm is lacking, making persuasion checks harder, and your pacifying spells are 20% weaker. Okay. Maybe Dominating Will would be good for Voldeblort. Fatal Attraction. Your presence is as dangerous as it is alluring. You can choose one gender. You deal 20% more physical damage to the selected gender, but in return take 20% more from the other. Blighted Fists. Your afflictions fuel your fury. Your unarmed attacks deal plus 10 unresistible disease damage to targets without disease immunity. Your magic, acoustic arcanist. Your magic flows through melody and vibration. After playing an instrument at an inn, your sonic spells become 20% more powerful. However, your booming presence makes hiring followers more expensive, and your reliance on sound magic weakens your physical attacks by 15%. Unshakable. You turn defense into offense. Your shield bashes deal 20% more damage and cost 20% less stamina. However, your unforgiving focus on your shield makes you slower while blocking. That's really useful. That's a really good one. Unfortunately, we're not a frontliner. Focused precision. Your reliance on careful aim comes at a cost. Arrows and bolts deal 15% less damage, but have a 20% chance to push the targets away. The strength of the pushback scales with your marksmanship skill. Interesting. Soul embed. At will, you can consume a dragon soul to amplify the magnitude of your shouts by 50% for an hour. Meh. Blood Warrior. Take 50% more physical damage and have 50% more weakness to magicka. However, you start with an extra 50 health and gain an extra 5 health per level. Interesting. Sunkissed. You draw strength from the sun's radiant blaze. Sun spells are 15% more powerful in your hands, but such warmth comes at a cost. You take 25% more frost damage, and this weakness deepens to 50% beneath the cold veil of night. Ugh, no. Power attacks with quarter staves will force the enemy to drop their weapon to the ground. However, this only applies if you're not wearing any armor. You also receive a unique battle staff. I think we're going to go with that. Wandering Monk. Shehai, your bound weapons do 15% more damage, but you take 25% more damage from the undead. No, we're going to go with Wandering Monk, even though we're not even close to being a Wandering Monk. That's really useful. We can have, like, because we're not going to be wearing armor, we're going to be wearing robes. So if we have a battle staff on us, so we can equip with our robes and then do a power attack that disarms the enemy, and then we can run away and like cast spells and stuff. That could be really useful. So yeah, we're going to confirm that. Select which game mode you prefer. Konahrik is for experienced players looking for an engaging combat and slow power fantasy. Nakitid is for those looking for a more relaxed experience. I think we can go for classic Lorerim experience, yeah? Classic Lorerim experience, why not? Oh, the game's bugged up again. Or the controller's bugged again.
Your destiny.
Let's just look through the rest of this, and I'll have to do a restart once we start. But once we've created the character, I'll end the episode there, and then I'll restart Lorerim and start the next episode at the start of us beginning, basically. So what have we got here? We've got choose your Desu fate. Begin your journey with a resting pilgrim. Helgen's Inn. Randomly select regular at the inn. You're a regular at an inn somewhere in Skyrim or Solstheim. You arrived in Skyrim by ship. You are a criminal with high bounties and multiple holds, taking shelter at a nearby camp. You've been attacked and barely managed to survive. Wounded and taken by disease, you try to find a way back to civilization. Left for Dead, that was the one we did last time. Shipwrecked, you've been a victim of a crash on high seas. As you regain consciousness, you are the last survivor deep underwater. Will you manage to escape? Blimey. You own property in one of the major cities. Vampire, you're part of a vampire clan. Do I want to be part of a vampire clan? I don't think that's right for me, to be honest. That's not the right vampire start that we want. You're a werewolf hunting in Hircine's name. Forsworn, you're a member of the Forsworn at Drowdach Redoubt. Guilds, you're a member of one of the guilds in Skyrim. Dragonborn, you are a Dragonborn of legend saving the world from Alduin. Rockside ambush, ambushed along the road by a roadside ambush. Ambushed along the road by a small group of bandits, fight for your life. Fell into a snake pit. I've fallen into a bandit snake pit. I'm hurt and all hope seems lost. Bounty hunter, I'm a bounty hunter approaching a bandit camp. Prisoner in a bandit fort. I've been imprisoned by bandits in an old fort. How can I get out of this? Out in the wilderness. I'm not sure where I am. How did I end up here? Addict. I can't believe I finally found the den. The shaking has gotten worse ever since I left home, but now my suffering is at an end. I do have some strange feeling about this den, though. Dwemer Ruin. I knew I shouldn't have touched that orb, but my curiosity got the better of me. I pray to the gods there's a way out of here. Whoa, you just start in the middle of a Dwemer Ruin. That is hardcore. Alchemist. It's been a while since I left home to become an alchemist, and I can't help but long for something more exciting to do than picking flowers. Maybe it's time I left this grove behind. At Angus Camp, I have come across the camp of a markswoman, named Angie. Maybe I should ask her to train me. Beggar. I don't even remember how long I've been living here in this godforsaken place. It's time I got out of here and became an adventurer, or joined the Thieves Guild, or the Forsworn, or something along those lines. Gods know anything would be better than continuing to do this. Jailed. Well, here I am. I can't believe those imbecile guards actually caught me. Shit. If I don't want to serve my time here, I better start looking for a way out. Mercenary. There's an old Cyrodiilic proverb, the riskier the road, the greater the profit. This civil war in Skyrim is bound to be good for business. It'd be cool. I'd be a fool if I didn't take this opportunity. After all, I can hardly make less money than back home. There's an old Cyrodiilic proverb, the riskier the road. Oh, okay, we've already got that. Oh, did I read that by mistake? No, they're both the same. Okay, yeah. Depending on your choice, you spawn at the Shrine of Azura, the Sasilium of Boethia, the Shrine of Marinus Dagon. Yeah, one of the shrines, basically. Pilgrim Shrine. Pilgrim Temple. I've finally arrived at the temple. Now that I've received the blessings of the divine, I should start looking for work in town. I can't go back home after all. Thalmor Prisoner. I've actually been imprisoned by those goddamn Thalmor. If I don't want to be tortured until I reduce my faith in Talos, till I renounce my faith in Talos, now is the time to get out of here. Those guards don't seem particularly attentive. Run! Vampire, this is what we're looking for, I think. A few days ago, I was struck down by an intense fever. Luckily, none of the fools that are my family seem to have recognized my symptoms for what they were, so they entombed me here after my death. Now I'm finally free to leave them behind and start a new life. I think that's what that says anyway. And then finally, werewolf. I've now been staying with the Majni's pack for quite a while, but the others still regard me as a stranger. I've got enough gold to pay for passage to Skyrim, so maybe I should leave and start traveling again. No, we're going to go with the vampire. A few days ago, I was struck by an intensive fever. We're going to start one of the random holds. I don't really care which one. Go into our inventory, because you're supposed to do that to start the Requiem, although it doesn't seem to do anything in this. And then we're going to go through the door. Non-exploitable crossbow reload warning. Looks like you've changed your character race in first person. Most often the cause of this is becoming a vampire, right? Yeah. This may and most likely will break crossbow reloading functionality. I'm never going to use a crossbow. To fix the save your game, load the save you just created. Okay. So we're going to save it. How are we doing on time? Blimey, an entire hour. Right. We're going to call it there, guys. I'm going to end the episode for the moment and restart Lorerim to get the controller working properly. And then we will pick things up here at the start of the next episode, which will be episode 1. The adventure of Lord Voldeblort begins. We must seek out Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and crush them and any other resistance that tries to stand in our way. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. I hugely appreciate it. I just wanted to get a session 0 of character creation and looking at the new Lorerim starts up on the channel for you all to enjoy as like a little taster of what's coming up ahead. So be sure to smash that like button if you are enjoying it and you're psyched for the series. I should be starting it once I've finished running The Sims. Once I've done The Sims playthrough, The Adventures of Limpy McGimpy, I will start this playthrough properly for you all to enjoy. So stay tuned for that, guys. Hopefully I'll see you all there. If not, I'll try and catch you in some other content I produce. I try and make content every single day now. So, Sal, wait till next time.